Well, I'm gonna start off our tell me something good because I was gone for and everything's great and Heather and everybody just took care of everything. So my something good is this team and I had a great time. So thank you so much for letting me go do that. Who else has something good?
I sold my first house today.
That is
Exciting. Congratulations.
First of million.
Yes.
Mhm.
I have a bucket fill. Wendy did an open house at one of our listings, and I was just really impressed with. She's like, I went door knocking beforehand, and here's some feedback, and I asked these questions, and it's like the dream to be a listing agent and have someone do an open house like that on one of your listings. So thank you, and I know the sellers really appreciate it.
And that for Giovanni, she's done a couple out of lists of mine, and does a good job as well, so. Sounds like she got a couple more time there too. So, yeah.
I'd like to bucket fill Sherry. I didn't hear it, but she helped us with. She's got her sister-in-law helping one of our local clients prepare, like a hands-on person, day by day, helping them things, organize things, prepare the house. Pretty awesome. So,
Was that a name she gave you? Like, contact you?
yeah, exactly. It's her sister-in-law that's helping us. So.
Alright, we can keep moving on here. So this is our training calendar. This is sent out to you at the beginning of each month. And then is included a lot in the peek at the week, so you can check on that there. These are all clickable. Today, we have our meeting. We do have the block party after this. Hopefully you guys can all go down and have some food, hang out, chat with each other, have a nice time after this team meeting today.
Hosted by Supreme.
Yeah. And then next Tuesday, I know some people are gonna be at Mega Camp. We are also going to, if you are still interested, you can still go to Mega Agent Camp. So you can scan that QR code. You can still go if you plan on going. For those of you who will be staying here, we are going to live stream. It will only be here though. It's not something that can be sent out. You do have to actually come here for it. Live stream the Gary Keller does the Wonderful Market Update. Talked about that at the beginning of Mega Agent Camp. We'll be streaming that as well as the Cultural Summit on Wednesday. So hopefully you guys can put those out, and we'll share those too, so you can add them to your calendar and join us for those events. Then the following Tuesday after that, our training is actually going to be hosted at Walk Your Plan with Chrissy Kimbrell. So so we actually, our commercial team was already at Walk Your Plan. It's a really neat space to go and check out and just to see, especially if you are working with somebody who maybe is looking to build, or you do work with builders, just kind of check out the space and everything that you do on that site.
She gave me a tour early on when she put it together, and I was a little skeptical being a builder and reading plans or whatever. And after being there, it's really a cool idea for people who can visualize spaces are. It's pretty.
It works for outside spaces.
Oh,
Have like a large floor space, and it has a couple of little other posts there as well. So you can join us there, but that's offsite at Walk Your Plan, which is in Chanhassen, like
Okay.
Right by the Costco. Everyone knows where the Costco is.
Yeah, check out the new Costco.
It's right now.
No, don't come to my Costco. Go to St. Louis Park.
The worst
And then this is super exciting. We did just receive word that Bold is going to be here this fall. The venue is still has not been sent out, so I'm not exactly sure where it is. We're crossing our fingers that it is a little closer to us here in the West Metro. That would be awesome. But as soon as we find that out, we'll let you know. You can sign up for the first free step if you want to scan the QR code. That is going to be on Wednesday, the 24th of September, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it looks like it'll be on Wednesdays again. So it'll be on our same day as our meeting, but awesome opportunity.
Hudson Warren again?
Did it?
Oh, good.
We have our first bold call today at 1:30 to talk with Hudson and fill out some more information, so. Yeah. It's good.
Who went last time with Hudson? I know there were a couple of people. Okay. There you go. So, we're excited to have him back. I know. Oh, good energy, right? Oh my goodness, this is so exciting just because it's like, it feels really far away, but it comes up fast. But mark your calendars, for a holiday party will be, Birches on the Lake. We've had it there for like years and, it's a really nice space. It's, awesome to be able to like chat with everybody and hang out, but, Thursday, December 4th. So I know December gets really busy for everybody. Probably don't have anything on your calendar yet for December, so put this in there right now. That way, you can make it.
Can I tag along to the holiday party? So the client
Oh, yeah.
version of the holiday party. So we are looking for 15 agents or teams to participate this year, or we might change how we do the party and actually not have a physical time and just assist agents. It is a ton of work to put that party on. And if we're not getting the participation because you guys are doing your own thing or whatever, that's really fine. But we're looking for, what's the date? September 1st. So we'll send out something to like save the date and if get like agents or teams, like not individual, then we'll party on. If not, then we're gonna look at an alternative plan.
And that's a great way as a solo agent to have an event for your clients that you don't have to pay that much money for, correct? How much is it?
It's $75 participation fee.
Yes.
And bring a appetizer.
And that's for the whole event with Mr. Santa and Mrs. Claus and tons of activities for kids. And it's a perfect way to contact all of your clients and invite them. And it's a really great opportunity to have a huge event that does not cost you very much money. Bethany, you've done it several years now.
Yeah, and I mean, I did it when I was a single agent.
Yeah.
So I think this year we're different, but in the past, it makes a ton of sense to leverage that because we're always looking for ways to interact with our clients. That's not just you have referral for me, right? Like the whole point is to have reasons to talk to people at a minimum every month. It's really how you usually talk to your peers. And then that event is when we tag on and we're going to invite them for the holidays. Do you anticipate making any next year that start helping you really way to start having conversations?
Basically, the agents assist you plan the party, and if you don't get it, you're gonna.
15 agents to say we're gonna participate. So like we're gonna invite they're gonna show up on the day and invite your clients. There's no minimum that you have to invite or anything like that. But a profile does a lot of the heavy lifting and that doesn't cover all the costs with that fee. It's really, if we don't get 15 agent, it doesn't feel like we're providing the value that you guys want. You get 15 agents. It used to be all the agents in the office.
Mhm.
Everyone did.
You set up.
Yeah, we'll send it out.
And just to be clear, one thing that's really amazing about what Profile does, they set up an event where, again, your cost is very minimal, like financially. Your time, you're gonna get out of it with all your entire database, I promise you will show up. I even have people show up that don't have kids sometimes, because they just wanna say hi and pop in. And then there's usually like hot cocoa, snacks. Brahma used to be our balloon artist. Last year, our team sponsored one, but like there's other events that people, when they're there, people hang out quite a while, and talk with you.
And isn't it like, doesn't it cost so much money to go get a picture now with Santa and Mrs. Claus at the mall or something that
Not
it's,
just cost, but the time to stand in line.
got it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you get that picture free there,
They're
right?
adorable.
Yes.
And they can take multiple pictures because it's not busy. You can try a couple times if you have shy kids. And
Super cool, I highly recommend.
That leads us to the ALC.
Bethany's gonna be leading the ALC meeting today.
Is there a motion to start the meeting? Alright, so what we're gonna do today is flip things around a tiny bit due to us having, our, event right after, which we encourage everyone to like go downstairs, have fun, talk to each other, thanks, today, at the block party. So what we're gonna do first is actually talk through office numbers, because some of the office staff are gonna be leaving to help, Cream set up. So when looking at market center numbers, we have some pretty exciting metrics to share. So I'll review kind of high level. So high level, we had 124 closed units. And reminder, we're covering monthly numbers for last month. So these are all July numbers. Some fun metrics about our closed units. So of those 124 closed units, 59% of those, or 59% of that GCI from July was actually generated from listings. So almost 60% of the GCI last month was listing related. I'm gonna actually, I know normally ALC meetings, I did this last time too, so maybe Kimmy will stop getting sick, so I don't have to lead these anymore. But, I'm just teasing. But I'm gonna open it up to the room, which normally we don't do. What's important about 60% of our business? I'm just gonna round up. What's important about 60% of our business being listing related?
Because of your listing.
Okay, and I agree, so you get more buyers because of the listings, which is really what? Market share. We have more market share, which then provides more opportunity. For every listing, according to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, how many clients should we generate per listing?
Buy one seller.
One buyer, one seller, so a minimum of two. So I bucket filled Wendy earlier because she door knocked around the open house. Why would you door knock around an open house? Because you're trying to get listings. You're trying to get to know the neighbors. Easy script on that. Hey, my name's Wendy. I'm hosting an open house down the street from 1 to 3 tomorrow. Would love to have you stop by and maybe you can pick your next neighbor. If they come through, one, you have an opportunity to talk to them and figure out what do they like about their house, what do they like about the neighborhood, what do they not like about their house, what's the timing, etc. Right? You got to know you said 3 neighbors came through door knocking. Okay.
It's a great time to say things like, oh, you had trees down? How much did it cost you to take that away? You know, next time call me because I've got resources. Someone that could. And so we started building conversations. They all 3 took my cards and are like, oh yeah, we will be coming back to you for resources. I mean, you're building trust, you're building relationship, you're building, cash for future opportunities.
Right now, does everybody feel that average days on market is up or down from what it's been? Okay, it's up. So I also would argue that having almost 60% of our closed income the listing side is a pretty good indicator of we're not just carrying listings, we're actually closing. So of that, it was $1,705,000 that was given out to agents in our office last. Think about that. That's a lot of money. Pretty awesome. Heather, what was the number, like, what do we normally see that look like?
I would say our listings sold percentage is usually between 47 and 52% is where usually our GCI comes from listings sold. So that was a big jump. It was 169% higher than last year, so. Yeah, I mean, huge.
Here's one other thing I'll point out about listings. How many listings, actually, I'm gonna open this up to ALC. How many listings at a time do you think you can manage with how many buyers? So it's
Did you say
additional.
triple, Jacob? Yeah.
Get way more control. You're going up against 10 other buyers, you get a buyer. 2% chance, actually.
So I think, that's something I would encourage everyone in the room, like, focus on your listings. Because yes, you can handle more and you can really take market share. Okay, another couple metrics to look at is our written units was 128 units. And then new listings, we had 55, which was down, correct, Heather?
Down from last year.
Which were interesting. What do we normally take, like, average listings per month?
It's usually around that, 55. In the summer months, it can be up to 65, 70.
Where are the typically two slowest months in Minnesota for real estate?
July,
July? What else?
December.
January. Okay, so we've already gotten through the two slowest months, right? So we only have busy months left. So just an encouragement that, like, July might not have been great for some of you. For me, it wasn't. It wasn't my best July, but we still busy. Okay. Other metrics to highlight, we added one agent. In July, we lost 3. One of them was an administrative person, and then 2 were new agents that didn't get into production. So we are at a net agent count of -2. Then I'm gonna jump into another really fun number. So we had owner profit of 17,615, which I know last time the ALC was rogue up here without Kami, we talked about, like, the importance of being a part of a profitable market center. Like, that's important to all of us. We should all care about that, which then also resulted in our profit share was $7,946. So that was a great profit share month. Heather, what was our profit share last year?
Last year, our profit share was quite a bit higher. It was $3,665.
What were you mean?
No, total profit share for the month of July last year was $3,665.
Yeah, so this year it's 7,000.
Yes, so a big jump, really nice.
Basically,
Mhm. And I think
Actually,
that's also-
even more than that too, because we changed the calculator. How profit share is calculated.
Yeah, international did. So, yeah. And also, in listings, you make more commission. I mean, you make more money on a listing.
I was on a call last week talking about national statistics, and nationally right now, there actually are our agent commission payouts right now are actually higher than they were before the NAR lawsuit. Right? Like, I think that's an interesting metric to pay attention to as well. We're not gonna talk specifics, but I think it's important to remind yourself, like, even with the pressure on the market right now, people are still making their fair share of income.
I wonder if that's because there's less agents.
Our agent count hasn't shifted that dramatically yet.
Not in Keller Williams, but as a whole, would that affect that number?
Yes, but my metric is not Keller Williams. It's a national number. So I don't know the number for. I don't know KW.
Saying kind of like the weaker agents have fallen off, better agents are gonna make more money as a whole.
I think, I don't have a statistic on that, but I do believe market share is going to continue to divide more and more, where the experience and the leverage, it is really hard to be a single agent, like, and to not have any leverage. Like having profile in our office and having really great vendors is a huge value add. I don't believe that you can do it alone, and profile and some of these other vendors, your team. So yeah. We haven't seen a ton of fall off though here. I mean, we're negative for the year, our agent count, net agent count for the year at our office is -4, which compared to the industry, I actually don't think that's bad.
And I think the reason we're seeing increased income is that after the NAR thing, everybody got better at saying, here's my value and here's what I charge, and articulating that clearly, and now they get paid. Rather than just kind of running over it or sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah, I've heard people say this is a market you have to fill up in, and I think that's good. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions on our market center numbers that I may or may not be able to answer? Heather, Will? Written units being at 128, where does that put us for the year? Is that a low?
For our year for written units.
Yeah.
We are at contract written for the year. This only, we have to add in that number. So 488 at the end of June. So plus how many? 128. So. A little over. Yeah.
What are we normally at? I'm just curious if we're pacing ahead, we're kind of on track.
We are pacing. At the end of June, we were down 8.6% from last year, but I think with this high number of June, we will definitely be right on track for last year. And last year we had a total contract written units of 1,052.
We're
A little behind, but I think we'll be just about even. Very close.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I was gonna say, the shrinking market, if we're holding our own, we're actually taking market share.
You said agent count, you're not worried about agent count, is that, and I apologize, I missed the first part, but is agent count across the Twin Cities going down because the market is just a little bit slower?
I don't know that number.
I'm sorry, I don't know it across the board either. Yeah,
I just don't know if
I could
there's
do,
more
we can do some
agents.
research, I can do some research on it.
What I do know is we should have better numbers on that in August because people had to do renewals due to like CD and everything. So like some people had to renew, and that's when like so of the 3 people, 1 person was an operations staff that left that team. 2 were people that were not in production as newer agents. That's when we see a ton of fall off because you're being told like, hey, you need to pay your renewal fee and you haven't done any business. That's when you evaluate, am I gonna still try to do this or not? So for us to only lose that many is actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think overall for the year, and I'll do some research too, because if we have 10% more realtors this year than we had last year in the entire Twin Cities hypothetically, then we should have 10% more, just naturally. But we're also the best office in the Twin Cities, which should mean that we should have even more than the natural obvious, staying par for course. So, yeah, interesting. And it could be that agent count's going down. I mean, that's my expectation is that when I do some research, I'll find out that across the Twin Cities, there's less this year, this year than there were last year. So.
Just curious, who in the office benefits from profit share? Who got a deposit last month? Roughly, what was your deposit?
500.
500. Jose, what was your deposit? Okay, mine was around 700. Well,
I don't remember what the dollar was.
I did too, but I don't know mine. I didn't look.
it's a fun deposit because you don't really know the number that's coming until your bank account.
First of every month.
And here's what I'll tell you, there's a secret sauce to profit share. And the goal is to get 15 in what's called your first line as quickly as possible. And that's the easiest way to do that because you never know who is going to be a top producer. Like we all were new agents at some point in time. And I would say over half of my people are all people that joined the market as brand new people, and half of those people were clients of mine, which is either a good thing or a bad sign. Like, not like what you see, that they were like, we could do this, or I choose to think differently. But anyway, and with K-score, it's a really easy conversation to have with people. So just want to encourage you to build your profit share. Okay, let's transition into what we've been reading. So reminder, we have been reading The Mountain Is You, which we're getting close to the end of. But who wants to jump in first, talk about our reading from past month?
I can go. See, the one thing I found interesting was step 4 of the exercise, building a new future. So it's about imagining your past and your future life. Some questions that I regularly ask myself are, what would your life look like today if 5 years ago you did what you said you were gonna do? What will your life look like in 5 years if you do what you say you're gonna do today? And then what will it look like if you don't? Regret sucks.
The area I like to get going through something amazing, become more resilient, more self-sufficient, more empowered. Realize that nothing will save you, and so you must begin the work of saving yourself, which is the entire purpose of your life.
Well, I like the whole idea of like, healing and of your brain, like you compared it to like if you hurt your knee, you're gonna go to the doctor and have somebody sit down. I just put my tongue down, but I never thought of like, well, I should let myself feel this, go through it, so then on the other side, I can be better. And the one that with relation to that, fear is not going to protect you. Action is. Worrying is not going to protect you. Preparing is. Overthinking isn't going to protect you. Understanding is. And just working through it.
And one part of the book, it talks about how your body keeps score. When sometimes you feel pain in your knees, it could be related to something that you're struggling to move forward. And then it also, going to your point, says healing is about prioritizing quality. Like, also, you don't rebuild what broke, build something better. And then also, healing happens in the small daily acts, the habits that we do. Healing is not about having regret. It's about setting up a game plan and working on it day by day. Something that I like that I kind of tell my kids, in a not as a polished way. My kids are crying. I'm like, they say, whatever happened. I say, feelings aren't real. Meaning this here. So I try to traumatize them how Dominicans traumatize their kids. It builds them stronger, you know. No, but it says you have to remember that your feelings, while valid, are not often real. They are not always accurate reflections of reality. They are, however, always accurate reflections of our thoughts. I thought that was pretty cool, since I always tell my kids that their feelings. I said better than that, but it's, yeah.
You want to add anything?
I guess my favorite part of the chapter was actually the very last paragraph. It says your purpose will be defined not by how you struggle, circumstances you were in, or what you were supposed to do, but how you responded in the face of adversity, who you were to the people in your life each day, slowly in its unique way change the course of humanity. Just going through the daily struggles, day by day, and like how you react to situations on a daily basis.
A part of it that what Jacob shared earlier really struck me, and then another section that struck me was healing is not about going back to exactly who you were before. because that person wasn't yet capable of seeing the storm before it hit. And that person didn't know how to shield themselves from it. Reminding myself that like the tough stuff, now it's easier to see it. Like you see it coming, like, and so it just continues to grow you as a person, the more you go through stuff and then heal from it. Spend the time doing things that heal you. Okay, I'm gonna throw out a question. How has this section, like, is there a portion of this section that you feel like you can relate to your real estate? But sometimes real estate beats you up.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I can say this point that I have here sometimes, all the time. It says truly, powerful people absorb what happened to them and metabolize it. They use it as an opportunity to learn, to develop. So real estate, we always have to continue. If something happened with a client, let's say 3 years ago, 5 years ago, well, you have to learn from it. Can't continue to make the same mistake. And yeah, so to your answer, yes. And then also something that I like, if I can add a couple things, it says, when it comes to healing, it's you versus you. And it's living up to your potential. Not about proving other people wrong. And when you are trying to prove people wrong, what that says is that the reason why you need to prove that person wrong is because you're trying to earn your own approval. Which I thought that was pretty cool. And then the last nugget that I took was the work is to envision who you want to be, not to obsess on who you were or the mistakes that you made. And that's how true healing comes.
Who knows what the first section, like the first third of the Millionaire Real Estate Handbook, what is it talking about? Is it talking about models and systems? It's all mindset. Share just made me think about, like, if you go into with the mindset for the day of something's gonna be hard, it's gonna be hard. Think lead gen is hard, lead gen is hard.
And then figure out a way to make it easy, break it down. Little parts of things that you can do, that's never really as hard as you think.
I think what you shared, Matt, reminded me actually quite a bit of the One Thing book.
Sure. It's a great book too, everyone should read it.
How could your takeaways be associated with this thing?
I think it's if something is hard or painful, it is figuring out a way that that's telling you that that's maybe not the easiest or the best way to do it. So to take a step back and think about what's a better way to do that task.
Real simple things, because I've gotten stuck on that a couple times when I'm in the middle of conversation, lead genning. I started pulling up Chat GPT. I said, they said this, what do I say? And it gives you lots of really different ideas that don't naturally pop into my head, or, you know, when you're put on the spot, I freeze. It's kind of one of those really releasing kind of moments, like, oh, this could happen 16 different ways. Which one do I want to try this time?
Anyone else? Is that your ahas for this chapter? You didn't feel. Or maybe even more specific in real estate business right now. Transition first. Okay, cool. We'll transition into numbers. Why don't we just start top down? So, Ben, I'll go first.
You betcha. Let's see. Okay, so we are looking at the month of July. Dials, outreach, contacts, was able to hit those. Looking to reach out to 110 people and then have good communication with 50 of them, like real estate conversation that's intentional. More conversational, not necessarily just phone calls. But goal is to set 16 appointments, set 11 appointments. I think part of that was we were busy putting things under contract. And so So that took us away from appointments a little bit. So our goal for contracts written was 13, we got 14. And our goal for closed units was 12 and we got 13. So we were able to do a little bit more than we were because of the number of closed, we were able to hit our GCI and profit goals as well.
Jose.
My goals for dials, I was 110, did 128. Contacts, it was 50, had 65 contacts. Appointment goals, 22. We scheduled 24 appointments. The contracts, the goal was 12, did 11. When it comes to contracts, I don't do contracts unless it's listing or unless the buyer is approved. I don't have my clients sign or they're approved, but even though I had 22, no, I had 24 appointments, I could have gotten every single one of them on a contract, but I don't see a benefit. Yeah, and we've talked about it in the past. So that's why that's lower than the appointments. Now, when it comes to closed unit, the goal was 10. Goal is 10 for every month. This year has been a little slower, but we ended up closing 8. GCI goal, actually above the goal was 63,000. It was 69,683. And we're positive on the profit goal as well.
Sherry.
Dials, I was short, at 87, my goal was 110. Contacts were 60, I was at 53. Appointments, I was just short 2. Actual contracts, I was short 1. Closed units, short 1. Words at 5. My, GCI was up 11,000, my goal. And I too think my contacts are down to the same reason yours were. It was like just.
Where did the 110 goal start? Because 4 of you have the same goal.
That was my goal, you know?
I started.
Okay.
I'll see you outside.
Some of us like to set our own goals.
I think it's because I did 25 a week and then I multiplied that by 52 and I think that's what you get.
Yeah. But
All right,
but I
Roy.
don't think
We'll
we,
give you
I don't think we
credit.
planned it. I think it was just a goal.
Okay. Roy.
All right, so dials and reach outs, I had a goal of 110, hit 89. Period, just want to say. Contacts, goal is 25, actually did 15, just less than Sherry.
No, you said
Appointment.
17. You're looking at my numbers.
No, I had 17. You had 15.
Keep going.
Appointments, I had a schedule, or I had goal 5, I set 5. 4 contracts, I did 4 contracts, closed units was 2, I did 2. GCI goal is 30,000, I only hit 15,800.
My dial goal is 400. I only hit 77. My contact goal is 200. I only hit 15, which I think that's wrong. I just pulled it from our dialer, but I know it's wrong, but that's what the dialer says. So appointments, the goal for the team was 25. We hit 12. The goal for new contract signed was 19. We hit 11. Goal for closed units was 14. We hit 10. Our GCI goal is 172 a month. We hit 150. And then our profit, we are under profit for the big expense. And so that's why it's not showing on Tyler. am I an expense?
Oh. His question made it sound like you were.
No, he was what he was asking is, so we use a dialer to call out of, but then I also use my personal cell phone number and my cell phone doesn't use the dialer, so I don't track the calls. But I know that's wrong because of how many appointments I set. Like, I'm not worried about my numbers because of how many appointments I set for August. A lot of people couldn't meet in July that want a list, but they want to meet in August.
Alright, let's see, my dials goal was 4,375. Well short of that at just 1,733. Contacts goal 437.5. About half of that at 234. Appointments, pretty close to my goal of 20 at 18, so happy with that. Contracts goal 11.43, just short of that with 10. Again, pretty happy with that overall. Closed units goal was 8, actual was 5. GCI was short 25,000, the goal was 88.
Does anyone have any questions on some of the numbers that were shared, or does anyone want to ask anyone questions on? Sounds like a lot of us were busy in July getting business flows versus generating new business. How do the next couple months look for everyone? After close? Does everyone else feel that way?
August for me, yeah, but, I mean,
It's like a 3-month cycle.
I guess this, right now, the last few weeks, feels like what, spring market should have been. Like it's been crazy. I have like 10 listing leads and roughly 20 buyer leads in the last, which is crazy.
I had 3 listings on Monday.
I agree, yes.
Just dropped, so that's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Profiles is way, our spring is late and now it's over.
It'll be interesting to see how that pans out over the next couple months for everyone. Rick?
So for the whole panel, now that all that business or the majority of that business that you guys have done is closed, what are you gonna do differently this month to get your call numbers to your goal?
I just hired my
Hired what?
side sales agent,
Okay.
someone helping me with dials, because the amount of business I've signed in the last couple weeks, I won't be able to keep up. So found a different way around.
Time block better.
back
So
to
I
the
really
basics.
need
Time block better. And when you, Milton, when you time block, are you time blocking one specific time of day that you, like each day is exactly the same, like 7 to 9 AM, or I mean, or is it,
Ideally 8 to noon, but it's rarely perfect.
but you are trying to time block that same time period 5 days a week?
Yeah,
Okay.
And I would say, I mean, rarely are you not here at 8 on the phone right away. I don't know, I was here at 7:15 the other day and nobody was, so.
I got here at that time the other day, and he still beat me.
Question for
I
Jacob.
knocked on your door.
When you time block from 8 to 12, do you find your contact, is that where you find you've had the most positive contacts with your clients, or do you have to adjust it based on the fact that everybody's getting ready
Better
for?
a call in the evening, more people answer, but I'm not gonna, I'm doing other stuff and I'm tired, to be honest, like, and I just don't do it, so I don't, doesn't get done.
You just take what you can get in the morning then?
You ask for the best time to call. I used to be a door knocker, like, Comcast door-to-door sales. 3 to 8, 3 to 9.
Wendy had a question.
If you guys could, I'm just curious about where your leads are coming from. So like Jose, you just said, you've got like 10 new listings coming on and how many new buyers and that. I'm just curious, where are they coming from? Are yours database? Are you cold calling? Are they expired? Are they, yours are what?
In my case, referrals,
Referrals. Okay,
all of them,
all right. How about you?
Client, Ricky?
fast lines, yeah.
And Jacob?
I think half of my contracts were referrals, I think 3 of those were from a lending partner. Then the other half were follow-up calls that I've been talking. I'll, might have to look specifically where they came from. but-
Coming from y'all speakers. Which y'all sphere is humongous. From someone whose sphere is like 5.
Gotta build it up.
We started at 5.
Okay.
All right, Ben, how about you?
I'd say a number of them are even from open houses from people we met 10 years ago that haven't bought or sold anything. You get them into the database. And, so it's hard to say that they're just from one thing, because it's been like, you literally put them into our database over 10 years ago and they don't do anything, and then all of a sudden they do, right? So it's just really nurturing them. So it's hard to say one spot, but it's emails, it's database, it's some of them I met door knocking 10 years ago now. But I'd say, and then it's referrals and past client referrals as well. So,
My first 1 or 2 years in the business, my goal was I was doing that for 10 contacts a week. And I was doing it by knocking doors, social media, and just calling people, hey, this is what I do. Do you know anyone interested? What do you know? Right?
Were you, when you were door knocking, were you just getting just phone numbers, or were you also getting emails? Like,
Whatever I could, whatever they gave me.
You ask for all.
I'm
Social
gonna,
security number.
Social, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna quick show something. I taught a class in Apple Valley and they really liked how I explained this, which I think helps with the question around your sources of business and even the comment around your sphere. So when you get into real estate, your number one goal first is to build your database as big as possible. On our team, you can't even partner with us if you don't have 200 names in one form of contact info. And how you do that, and I'm happy to share this with anyone, is you, 1, go through your phone. 2, go through a questionnaire that I'm happy to share, which is like, what's your hairstylist name? What's this person's name? Like, it's a memory jogger to think of who those people are. But then you're not going to bug those people every month, right? So your number one source of business that you should build is going to be your sphere. But know that your sphere should produce, so let's say you have 200 names in your database. According to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, for every 12 people in your database, you should get 2 pieces of business. Who knows what those, why is it a 12-to-2 ratio and not a 6-to-1? Very important.
So.
No.
One referral and 1 purchase.
Yep, one's a referral and one is they're actually gonna do it. So a referral, and then one is they'll actually close it themselves, okay? So you have to think about that when you're calling your spheres. They might not be looking to move this year, but they probably know someone. And you need to have the confidence to be able to say, hey, Jacob, I know you're not planning on moving this year, but I'm just curious. Would you be comfortable if you hear someone at church or work talking about moving? Would you be comfortable introducing them to me in a group text? I'd love the opportunity to help them. And if you can't say that, then let's figure out like why you're not confident enough to say that, because you have to tell people how to give you referrals or they won't. Then your next one is going to be open houses. But your open houses can't be you get there 5 minutes before, you put the sign in the yard and you pray people show up. There's a woman named Carrie Schmitz who's like a badass mother effer because she has 9 kids and still made over $1 million a year in real estate. And her primary source of income was open houses. You know how many open house signs Carrie Schmitz puts out per open house?
She put 9, each one with kids.
She actually did start paying her kids to do it as they got older, but that's beside the point. So Carrie, on minimum, puts, she still does this, 30 plus open house signs out per open house.
And think what that does, when I used to live in Maple Grove and build houses in Maple Grove, you see Carrie Schmidt sign, it's free advertising. Doesn't matter if you go over an open house, like, oh my gosh, is she everywhere? You know, and it's maybe for one listing, but they're on every corner for like 5 miles.
Not just one per corner. Here's the thing. So Jason just asked, like, where do you put them? She would put 2 per corner. So it's like, it's easy for people to drive by one open house and not think twice about it. You see 2 and some freaking balloons with a helium shortage, you're gonna be like, excuse me, what's that? It's a party. She also would door knock the neighborhood. And she would leave behind a flyer. And then last is Carrie is a boss at knowing the stats. So when people would come into her open house, she knew, oh, you're from the neighborhood, awesome, I'm sure you know that such and such household last year for like amount of money, right? Like she just got so good at doing open houses. Then here's the last one, is this is prospecting. Now, some of you don't want to pick up the phone and call, like Jacob does. And I'll be honest, that's not me either. So then you have to figure out what is your prospecting for. So for me, it was networking events when I first got started. I joined the Young Professionals with the Twin Cities. Every month, I was like, I am going to meet at least 10 people tonight, get their business card and add them to my database. And that was one of my first sales, was meeting TJ at that event. It was actually, I was so insecure, I didn't even ask him for the business. He finally was like, are you gonna sell me a house or not? Like that's literally the conversation we had because I was too shy. So with prospecting, pick what that's gonna look like for you. It could be door knocking, like Jose. It could be cold calling, like Jacob. It could be, Ben, what would you say you're prospecting in? You do a lot of networking too.
Right, a lot of networking, both in group that's business based and then social.
Networking, right? Your prospecting can look like a lot of different things. Here's the key. Did any of these things cost money? The answer is no. So before you worry about, because everyone's all like into like, let's buy leads. Before you spend any money, this is what you should be doing. Which here's what it should really equate to. You should be doing 1 to 2 open houses. And you should be making 50 contacts a week between all of these different people, which if you break it down, that's 10 conversations a day.
I'm 100% against buying leads. 100%. I don't buy leads. I get companies that called me. I'm like, no, I get my own leads. I take pride in that. When I was knocking doors, I didn't knock doors. If I didn't get a sale that day, I don't make money. I produce my own money. Want to call it like that? And I take a lot of pride in that.
The only leads we buy are when we promote our listings on Facebook. And we do get a couple deals from that a year. I'd say probably 5 or less. But out of
And if you think about that, you're not buying the lead, you're promoting your business.
100%. And I would say that's the same for everybody up here. None of us buy leads.
My question, my bread and butter right now is houses. Yes, I do. But I borrow the signs from here, so I look to buy signs. It's looking like $900. I'm like, it's an expensive.
Couple thoughts for you. One, you don't have to always have the tents. They're the corrugated ones that you can just push in the ground.
Yes.
Number 2, if you're
If
doing
we have those available.
you, 4. I don't know if there's.
26.
I'm hoarding it out because I have been hoarding those 4 for the past like 5 weeks. So here's the other thing is depending on who you do the open house for. So like our team, I have a bunch of signs in my office. So if someone said to me like, Bethany, I want to do an open house, now it's gonna be my brand on the open house sign, but I promise you, people aren't calling the open house signs, they're going to the open house, right? So there's other teams and people in here you could borrow signs from. I'm a big believer in do not put yourself in debt. I've actually never had business debt. I don't have any. I literally got my first business credit card this year because I just want more points. Do not put yourself in debt. There's too many free resources within the office that you could ask a bunch of people for signs and they will happily lend them to you. Tony.
There was someone in our office maybe 15 years ago, and this was around the time that Carrie was doing this too. And she put out, open house leads were kind of slow at the time. And she came back to the office in an office meeting, and I wish I could remember what her name was, but she came into the office. She was like, I had like 30 people come through my open house and I ended up booking 5 appointments is what she said. And everyone was like, how did you do that? She's like, well, I put out a bunch of open house signs. They're like, well, how many? And she put out 17. And at that time, 15 or 20 years ago, it was kind of unheard of to do that in a different way. And that was literally the only thing she did differently. So you could go do that whole strategy around open houses, or you could just put out the signs. Anyway, I just thought it was worthy.
I read that execute a really good open house, it should actually take you 7 hours. Between the door knocking you should do in advance. I know the office has Mojo that the PC program has access to. I would absolutely door knock the neighborhood 2 days before. I would call the neighborhood the day before. And then I would make sure that I'm there early, lights are on. Like, you're putting on a show. Like, I know of an agent that actually rolls out a red carpet out the front of his open houses. And just makes it an event. So, and then looking into the market data. When you do all of that, and then that also includes the follow-up. When you do it all, it should probably take you 7 hours. So if you're expecting an open house to be 2.5 hours, because you're putting signs out 15 minutes before and rushing into the house right on time, like you're missing an opportunity. Rick?
One of the other things that we did in the past year that's been fun and I think pretty successful is doing a neighbor only 1 hour prior. So if our open house is noon to 2, we invite just the neighbors from 11 to 12, and we have pastries for them and mimosas and coffee. Super easy. It's really pretty inexpensive to do, and you get to take it home and eat the leftovers yourself, because Sherry won't eat them. But you know, that's been really successful because that's showing the neighbors that you're going above and beyond what no other realtors are doing that. You know, and you're getting to actually talk to just them, and they get to see the house without a bunch of other public in there. It's really been a really cool experience.
In regard to the packets at open houses, hopefully this isn't too kind of dull of a question, but some packets are really in-depth, have a ton of information about the home. I personally walk in when I'm showing it, or I don't really care, but how many people really like those or don't like those? How much should we be spending on those? Investment for you guys, or like information at the open house, you want the actual volume.
Okay, so I have 2 thoughts, but I'm curious if other people. So I actually think that you should not hand them a flyer as soon as they walk into the property. I purposely have the flyers behind me because I want to talk to them. If you hand them a flyer, the second they walk in the door, they're gonna put their head down and shift and go what you're like losing the conversation. So our script when you walk into one of our open houses, if our agents are doing it correctly, is, hey, welcome to the open house. My name's Bethany. A lot of people show up to open houses because they're either looking for their next home or they're looking to sell. Which one are you? You just go in for the question immediately. And then, oh, I'm just a neighbor in the neighborhood. Oh, awesome. What block do you live on? Once they tell you the block, I make a mental note of that and I write it down because I send them a thank you card because I look them up in the tax record. I do have them sign in with their name, but I don't have them sign in. And then after my seller's request for security and our safety that you just sign in real quick. On my sign-in sheet, it says, do you have a realtor? What's their name? Because I can figure out real fast. This is recorded, so I have to be careful. But like, if they say they have a realtor, but they don't put the realtor's name down, do I really think they have a realtor? The answer is no. And then I ask them before they leave for feedback and also ask them, hey, would you be curious in a list of off-market homes in this neighborhood? Then that usually opens, doesn't mean I have one right now, but that's something I can then work on that relationship with. There are a lot of people that come into my opens and never get fired. I had a guy recently who right away said he did have an agent. By the end of them leaving, he asked for my card. But it's just about building. So I think the flyer is more for the sellers to feel like you're doing the marketing than it is actually for you to. Yeah. I think you should have them there, but I wouldn't.
What I do is I use them at the end. As they're walking out, they have something with either your business card or the flyer if they're interested in the home. But that's the last resort. You want to get the information, you don't want them to get some information and then leave. They're never gonna call you.
I'd say we focus more so on a placement of our body and the paper of the sign-in sheet to essentially guarantee that they're gonna sign in. The strategically placing, they kind of don't have an option but to friendly sign the paper. Feels like responsibility to them.
And Rachel and her team started us doing the little tiny clipboard things.
Yeah.
And it's just super, you have a bunch of people there and you have 6 of those little clipboards. It's very easy to, and
And she has them just carry them around and fill them out when they want to, right? I mean, they're not just standing there like filling them out. That's a little.
We need the other person to finish before they pass it, it works really well.
And she also had us, like, she's like, just flip it around right away and write something about the person. Like immediately wore that red sweatshirt with Santa on it. I mean, exactly. So then you're like, oh yeah, that's those people, so.
Yeah. We do the same thing and ask for feedback, and then we tell them if, first of all, we have to ask people to sign in for safety reasons. Homeowner. And then, if you give us some feedback, we'll enter you in a drawing for a $25 Amazon card. And then that usually generates a little bit more feedback and a little bit more conversation. And then they want to give you a real email address because they could win something.
You always give it.
Yeah. I mean, but sometimes.
Hiding it, cause I would just be like, yeah, 4 weeks deep, no one's getting that. All right, well, it's 12:00. Motion to end the meeting. Great, meeting adjourned.
Forget about the barbecue. Are there any wants and needs?
I have a listing that went live today in Greenfield. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3-stall garage, 4 acres. 675 is where it's listed at. We have a few showings scheduled for today. We plan on doing an open house on Saturday. Reach out if you have any questions.
Didn't you say that one sold?
With 30 signs.
Seal the deal.
Heather?
I've got one, and once the school district's coming, I'm thinking the middle of August, but probably towards the end. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, fully unfinished basement. We'll go in at 25. probably.
Email them to Lydia. She will send out an email this afternoon. Do not forget, let's go down for the barbecue. Thanks, Bethany.